Hello and Merry Christmas from rainy Arizona. So this time is my absolute favorite time of year. I love celebrating Christmas.
Santa's coming to town! Santa! Oh my God! Santa!
I don't love Christmas quite like that. But like Charlie Brown, many people ask, what is Christmas all about? Well, Christmas is the time where we choose to celebrate that God became a man. That's what Christmas means. And I personally really believe that. But there's a lot of people that don't believe that there is a God. I just wanted to take this special holiday and explain to you why I believe that God really does exist. As we look around, all these things exist, right? I'm not like Elon Musk. I don't believe that this is a simulation like the Matrix. All the things that we see have to come from somewhere. But what happened? How did everything appear? Well, most scientists, including Einstein and Stephen Hawking, believe that the universe had a beginning. And so for it to have a beginning, that means that something had to spark that. I mean, out of nothing, nothing comes. If there was ever a point where nothing existed, then there would still be nothing existing. Most people that don't believe in God believe in a Big Bang, which means that everything that we see now, all the matter was compressed into a single point. And some way, somehow, that exploded, and everything that we see now exists through billions and billions of years of things expanding and changing and collapsing, things turning and gravity forming, basically planets. We have our planet, and our planet is full of life. So where did that life come from? Here's a quote from Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time, where he pretty much summarizes his view on how life came to be. It is thought that the initial life forms developed in the oceans, possibly as the result of chance combinations of atoms into large structures called macromolecules, which were capable of assembling other atoms in the ocean into similar structures. They would thus have reproduced themselves and multiplied. In some cases, there would be errors in the reproduction. Mostly these errors would have been such that the new macromolecule could not reproduce itself and eventually would have been destroyed. However, a few of the errors would have produced new macromolecules that were even better at reproducing themselves. They would have therefore had an advantage and would have tended to replace the original macromolecules. In this way, a process of evolution was started that led to the development of more and more complicated self-reproducing organisms. According to scientists, that's how life came to be. A structure of atoms that somehow reproduces itself to become a thinking, feeling human being. I mean, yes, according to them, it took billions and billions of years. But still, our DNA code is so insanely complex. How could it have possibly originated with macromolecules that rearranged themselves? Not to mention that the star would have been in a hostile, chaotic environment, which is not conducive to life. Okay, so say that scientists are right and that all this process did happen, and here we are, you and I. We are on this planet and we go about our days working and doing whatever. But then somehow a question of why, what is the purpose, pops up into our brain. What is the purpose for us being here? What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? Not only that, how often do we see the world around us and think, man, something is wrong. Something is wrong with this experience. Why, if we are just animals, would we have those two questions? Scientists cannot answer either of those two questions. And so when you add up all the possibilities, everything that we just discussed super briefly in this video, to me, it takes way more faith to believe that there was nothing and then somehow all the matter that exists was there, and then somehow it exploded, and then somehow planets and stars and everything that we see came into being, and then in this rock that we call Earth, some macromolecules started being put together, and boom, life. And life that wonders about purpose and morality. If there is no God, then each society can decide what's right for themselves. And yeah, you may agree with that, but what happens when a society says it's okay to have genocide of a weaker race? Or a society decides that slavery is okay? Or a society decides that killing unborn babies is okay? So C.S. Lewis, who used to not believe in God, puts it this way: my argument against God was that the universe seemed so cruel and unjust. But how had I got this idea of just and unjust? A man does not call a line crooked unless he has some idea of a straight line. What was I comparing this universe with when I called it unjust? So to me, all of these reasons add up to one simple fact. that it's much easier to believe that there's one eternal, super powerful being that created all that we see through his own power than all of these things lining up. It takes way more faith to believe that God doesn't exist than that he does exist. Now, this list is definitely not comprehensive, but this is just one way that I came to the conclusion that God is really for real. So let me know what you think in the comments below. In any case, I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas and that you man up.